Good evening, everyone. Jody here from Healing Journey, your anxiety expert extraordinaire and founder of the very successful program, the Holistic Anxiety Fix, which is my 12-week program that looks at multiple levels of healing anxiety at a root cause level and is getting some fantastic success. So today I wanted to pop on and really broaden your understanding of potential root causes of anxiety. And I wanted to dive into minerals. So for those that know me, know that I love to talk about minerals, and I haven't talked about minerals in a long time. And you also know that I run hair tissue and mineral analysis to help women really figure out what's going on with minerals. So I wanted to start out by talking about what you might feel if you are deficient in potassium. So I know I've seen a couple of comments in the group that there are some muscle twitches and muscle cramps. So this is actually a sign that you're potassium deficient. Kidney issues, but also abnormal heart rhythms. So when you're getting those heart palpitations or heart arrhythmias, I want you to think about potassium. And I want to tell you a story about me. So I've had some ongoing heart symptoms throughout my anxiety journey. And for me, I had heart palpitations pretty much at every turn. And for things that didn't necessarily make me feel anxious. So even exercising would give me heart palpitations. And I was really confused about what was going on. And I'd heard about potassium, and I knew that it was a great mineral for heart health, but I was also very fearful that if I took potassium, I might be doing something wrong to my heart and I might make things way worse. And so I stayed very, very clear of it. And then I ran a hair tissue mineral analysis and something really interesting showed up. So what was happening is that my potassium was actually extremely high on my hair test. And this wasn't because I had high potassium, but what was happening was the potassium I was getting exposure to wasn't actually going inside of my cells. So I might have been eating it in the food, but it wasn't getting inside of my cells. And so I was losing lots of it out through my hair, which is why it was showing up on very, very high levels. And what this was leading to was something called thallium toxicity. So I want you to like this video if you've never heard of thallium before. I also want you to tell me if you think you are toxic with heavy metals or not toxic with heavy metals. So just head on over to the comments box and write not toxic, maybe toxic, I'm toxic. What do you guys think? Do you think you're toxic in heavy metals at all? So most of the women that I ask this question to, I see a like, never heard of thallium. Okay. Most of the women that I ask this question to think, well, I don't work around heavy metals, so I'm not actually toxic in heavy metals. And I'm going to walk you through why you actually might be toxic in heavy metals, specifically thallium. So thallium is actually part of gasoline now. So when they took the lead out of gasoline to make it unleaded gas, they actually put thallium in instead. And so thallium is actually a very damaging heavy metal. And what's really interesting is that thallium looks exactly like potassium or similar to potassium. So what happens with potassium is it's a very calming mineral. And when you've been stressed for a long period of time, what's going to happen is you're going to burn through this mineral. And that was also happening to me. I had a lot of stressors with mold and with the work I was doing and the food even that I was eating prior to moving to a healthier diet. And so I had burned through a lot of my potassium. And so if you're not getting enough potassium, then the body sort of looks for what is similar. And unfortunately, just with the way that our food quality is right now, we're not getting those great sources in our food. And so this means that we can be deficient in potassium even if you're eating healthy, which can be very frustrating. So I wasn't getting enough potassium, and so my body was looking outwards. What can we find that's going to be similar? And it finds thallium. And so what actually happens, because thallium's now in the air, right? Because if it's in cars and gasoline is in the air, then thallium is now in the air. So we breathe it in, it's everywhere, it's very bountiful. And so what happens now is that thallium will sit on the sodium potassium transporters where we wanted potassium. And so then it blocks potassium from getting inside of the cells. And that is exactly what was happening to me. It was blocking the potassium from getting inside of my cells. And so I was potassium deficient, and then I was thallium toxic. So what did I do? Well, I ran a hair test. And when we do hair testing, we really look at supplementing not just one mineral, but we look at really supplementing multiple minerals so that they're synergistically working together. So potassium was one of the minerals that I supplemented with. And I did it at very high doses. Let me tell you, I started small and I moved my way up. And I would say within about a month, the majority of the daytime heart arrhythmias stopped. It was incredible. And then when I retested on a hair test, my potassium had gone back down into normal levels. And so what was happening is I was able to detox the thallium and really support my body to get the potassium inside of my cells. So my heart health improved and I felt noticeably calmer, because if you're somebody who has heart issues, you know, if you have those symptoms, then it sends this worry to your mind of what's going on, and your whole nervous system feels off. And so this is why minerals can be one of the biggest missing links to healing anxiety, mineral deficiencies. And in fact, over 99% of women are deficient in potassium. Even if your blood work shows up normal, at a cellular level, we're often very, very deficient. So I see somebody saying, maybe I'm toxic. So now you can see how it's very easy to just be breathing and toxic these days. And so really addressing minerals, if you're burning through it through stress, can be a super important piece of the puzzle. If this is new information, I invite you to like this video and comment below, new for me. Thanks very much. And I'll see you guys later this week. Bye for now.